Yeah, it's me. It's me. Well, to no one's surprise, the Ravens Steelers game was decided by 3 points again this week. It's now the eighth out of the last 10 meetings that have been decided by that margin, which indicates that they're always usually pretty hard fought games between two pretty closely matched teams. Le'Veon Bell called it Attitude Day for some reason. I haven't been able to find out why. Lawrence Timmons had 20 tackles. I tried to find out what search the internet to find out what the Steeler record was for most tackles in a game, and nothing came up. And I really haven't heard anything from the media on it. But I can't believe it can be much more than 20 tackles. He also broke his hand, but the Steelers say that that's probably not going to keep him from playing against Oakland this week, so that's good news. Overall, I think the defense played well, but they still have only 2 turnovers, and now it's 6 games into the season. The running game was pretty effective. In my Football Tickets Online blog, I said prior to the game, I said they were going to need probably at least 80 yards rushing to win the game, and Bell got 93 on his own and looked pretty good doing it. Overall, they only had one negative run, and that was to set up one of Sweesham's 4 field goals, who has been named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. And 12 of their 8 rushes overall went for 4 yards or longer, so they averaged 4.9 yards per carry, which is a tremendous improvement. On the negative side, maybe this is probably just me, but Bell looks a little bit too much like Rashard Mendenhall getting to the line. He took a lot of small steps, looking to feel his way in. I will say, once he did get a hole, he is a downhill runner, and he leaned forward for a lot of extra yards. But if he continues to do that, other teams' defenses are going to take advantage of it in some way. The Steelers used the Wildcat offense effectively. Ben is complaining, however, that he doesn't like being potentially exposed to defensive backs in that alignment, and he doesn't think that running backs should be taking the shotgun snaps in the Wildcat because they're not as effective in handling the ball as a quarterback would be. He's probably right, but whether it makes a difference, I'm not sure. The shovel pass to Miller for a touchdown was a great call, probably the second best call of the year by Todd Haley. The first being the touchdown pass to Emmanuel Sanders on 3rd and short against the Jets, which basically broke that game. Again, the Steelers only scored 1 offensive touchdown, however, and that has really got to change. I think the special teams receive an A, excluding Mesko's junior high punts, as Tomlin called them. As far as the offensive line is concerned, they have another injury, Marcus Gilbert. Overall, they pretty effectively handled Haloti Ngata, which means he's probably playing hurt because the Steelers historically don't manage him very well. But this is also good news for the Steelers as far as the Ravens going forward, which means the Ravens' defense isn't going to be as effective, and they might lose some games by giving up too many rushing yards. Guy Wimper played well in his first game action for the Steelers. He had to come in and take Marcus Gilbert's place. The Steelers used Adams as an extra lineman on the left side. That was mostly on running plays. I think it was only 2 passing plays that they used him, but that effectively reduced his pass blocking exposure. David DeCastro is turning out to be a really good run blocker, I think, but still his pass blocking leaves something to be desired. William Gay played well, and also at playing some at cornerback. And rookie Shamarko Thomas played well in addition. And with Shamarko's play starting to improve, it seems like every week, I'm wondering whether Ryan Clark is starting to become expendable. He is old. He is definitely slower. Thomas is a big hitter like Clark. So I think he'll be probably maybe starting at safety before the season's over. But this year they don't have to worry if they go into play in Denver in the playoffs, because they'll have him to replace Clark, who can't play at altitude. Two items from Mike Tomlin's press conference yesterday. When questioned, he hadn't realized that the Steelers lost 9 seconds on the clock on Emmanuel Sanders' kickoff return that was called back. And when he was asked about it, he said he didn't notice it because he was too pissed off. That's really not a very good admission for a coach, because that's one of the things that you need to be taking care of on the sideline is clock management. And the big news in Pittsburgh, really, among the media, is that he dismissively told the people at his press conference as he was leaving, you guys have too much time on your hands. And probably legitimately they're unhappy about that. So, maybe there's some friction building between Tomlin and the press coverage. The last item is surrounds the 91-0 win by Aledo over Western Hills in football in Texas this week. After the game, a parent, a father of one of the Western Hills players, put in a formal allegation of bullying with respect to the coach of Aledo. And after the game, the Aledo coach said it wasn't good for anybody. I've sat and gone over and over and over it on what we could have done differently. The score could have been very easily 150-0. But under state law, when this allegation is made, the Aledo principal must investigate the complaint and prepare a report. The University Interscholastic League, the governing body for high school sports in Texas, only has a mercy rule for 6-man football, and that's 45-0 at halftime or later. But there is none for 11-man. There is a stipulation that the coaches can agree to end the game in a runaway of this type. But apparently neither coach knew the rule, or the losing coach wasn't willing to discuss it with the officials to get with the Aledo coach and perhaps end the game early. It says, while blowouts are not uncommon in Texas high school football, Aledo has racked up several of them this season, due in part to being placed in a new district that has not been as strong in football. The Bearcats' average victory margin in 4 district games is 77 points. And just saw that ESPN reported that the bullying allegation has been dismissed by the Aledo School District. This actually won the Jagoff of the Week award. His parent won this on Trib Live Radio today, so that shows what I think most people think about this. And looking back, Chuck Noll was famous for saying when he was asked about whether he was running up the score against the New York Jets, I think back in the 80s, he didn't see any white flags. So I think that pretty much covers what this type of this situation should entail. So we'll see you next time. You can also find me here. Take it and go.